Three, two, one, action. Hey, everybody. It's the Sport Guy Austin here. The second edition of the A Team, the actual edition. Previous episodes were recorded, and then I changed the name because it wasn't friendly on the mobile device. I checked it out, and I was like, oh, man, that name sucks on the mobile. So I made it into something a little shorter, came up with the A Team. I've got a guest star here. Morgan J Ingram is with me. We actually connected through LinkedIn. That's how we met. He was in Austin, and our paths just didn't cross, unfortunately. But I'll let him introduce himself. He's quite known around these parts, but I'll see how he introduces himself here.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Nothing too crazy. Morgan Ingram first started off as a SDR, so sales development rep. And what all that means at the end of the day is prospecting into net new accounts, and that's the only thing that you do. So I gained and honed a skill on prospecting that I'm continuously getting better at on a daily basis, and that's my goal. And also as well, now training teams on how to do that same thing. So training teams on how to prospect in multiple organizations and telling them exactly how to go about it and how to prospect in the right way and in multiple industries. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm excited to talk about a multi-array of topics we have today. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, and Morgan is known for being an SDR animal. That's what he's known for. That's his bread and butter. But what I really want to get into is more of the origin story, the background. What was it that forged this fire in you that made you such an animal? Because not everybody has that tenaciousness that you do. And I think that's what it takes. If you really want to be successful on the front line, at the tip of the spear, as they say, you can't be meager or weak.
You can't at all. And I think it's comes to the mindset, right? Like a lot of stuff that comes down to, if I look at success, if I look at what has led me to certain things that I have today, it's the mindset of like, look, I'm not trying to give up here. I'm going to continuously move myself in the right direction for success. And that's what I'm always trying to focus on.
Right on. And so who were some of the biggest influences in your life that you kind of got strength from, or you took inspiration from?
So the answers that most people will give are their mom and their dad. That I have, but I want to go outside of that. First and foremost, it's Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh wow.
There's something about it when I watched him when I was in my senior year in college. And my ex-girlfriend's like, you got to check out Gary Vaynerchuk. And I was like, I don't know who that is. He sounds crazy. And the first video I watched, he was crazy. And I was like, what? I was like, what the heck? Who is this guy? And I couldn't watch the first video. So I stopped watching him. And then like a week later, someone sent me another video like, yo, you got to check out Gary V. And I was like, all right, maybe I just watched the wrong video. Maybe I messed up. I watched it again, and it was a video that really hit home with me. And as I watched more of the videos, I realized that the way that I thought about things and how I went about things was identical to him. And I didn't feel crazy anymore, and I didn't feel like I was losing my mind. I felt like it was someone who was speaking directly to me, which there's probably people out there who you listen to and you're like, man, that person is speaking to me. So that's how I felt about Gary. So ever since then, I've met Gary 3 times. And every time I've gotten really good advice from him and executed on it. And I realized that we were the same person. I'm not saying I'm not doing 16 hours a day, but I realized that the way that he thinks, the way that he goes about things, I realized I was like, that is identical to how I think. And I think I still have a long way to go to even amass the work ethic and what he has accomplished so far. But everything he said really inspired me. So he's one of them. Another person that really inspires me as of late, the more I watch his interviews, is Deion Sanders.
Wow. Prime time.
So, I mean, everyone's seen him play. It's incredible. But not a lot of people have listened to his interviews. When I ask people, if you listen to his interviews, you're like blown away by how much, first of all, confidence he has, but the way that he breaks things down is truly incredible. So he's another person that I look up to. And another person that I really admire is The Rock. So I watched a lot of wrestling.
The Rock. No,
Yeah.
no, you're a wrestling fan. Stop it.
Yeah,
Stop
man.
it. You're not
Yeah,
a
man.
wrestling fan. You are not a
W,
wrestling fan. I don't
w,
believe it.
growing up, WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all those
Attitude Era.
attitude, all that stuff, man. I watched it. I watched it. I was a wrestling fan. Me and my brothers would watch it all the time. Eddie Guerrero, right? All those people. So
Oh man, Latino Heat.
yeah, man. RIP. So like
Yeah.
oh, JBL, like I'm just like remember now. Like this is what we grew up on. Me and my brothers would watch it, and The Rock was
Sure.
iconic for his time, and the way that he built his brand was insane. So those are. I mean, there's other people, but those are the main three people that I think about, and I try to emulate their model. Not them as people, because I think that is where people lose themselves. But I emulate the models of what they built, and I'm trying to follow that same blueprint.
The way I would describe what you just said exactly would be they put a blueprint down. They've blazed a path through their industry, and if you want to do something similar, this is kind of what it takes. Now everybody looks at The Rock and says, "Well, The Rock." I mean, they see him on Fast and Furious or wherever, whatever movie he's Jumanji, whatever it is, whatever The Rock's doing, and they think, man, this guy's just so lucky. But they don't see the hours and hours and hours that he spent in the weight room, just constantly, all the time, all the work that it takes. They just see the finished product, kind of like the old tip of the iceberg, as it's known. That's the tip of the iceberg of success. Everyone just thinks, oh, it's so easy. They don't see all the stuff that's below there. What I wanted to ask you about Gary Vee specifically was, what commonalities did you see specifically? What traits or things that he was doing were you like actually identifying and saying, you know what, that's me?
Yeah. So one, he talked super fast. And I was like, yeah, that's me. I talk very, very fast. Most people have the time like, yo, what are you talking about? That was me. Two, he was he had good intuition. That's that I have, is that just great intuition about things. So when I was like, oh yeah, this is something that should happen. Like when I first started posting on LinkedIn in 2015, I was like, LinkedIn's going to be big in 5 years. I said that. And he was saying
Wow.
that in his content too. And I was like, hold up. Like I don't really talk about that a lot, but you said the same thing. And then lo and behold, today, everyone's like, I want to build a brand now. Right. Like it's like the move now. But I was saying that
True.
like in 2015 when everyone was like, oh, making fun of me for it. And now it's like the thing. And I'm like, the same people who made fun of me for it are like, Morgan, how do I build a brand? I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, I told you. So that's one thing I resonated with him with. I think also he sold baseball cards growing up. I sold Pokemon cards growing up. So I resonated with that. He always just had the gift of gab. Just growing up, I had the same thing. He got made fun of in high school and in school. I got made fun of in school.
Made fun of.
Yeah.
That one right there strikes the biggest nerve for me, because I was dirt poor growing up, like the poorest. We lived in Kenny would be embarrassed. Kenny would be like, no, I'm not going in there. From South Park, he'd be like, no, that's not me. I'm not going in there. I lived in a shack, and I had to catch the school bus every day. And we lived in a neighborhood, and it was just not a great neighborhood. And I would get in the bus, and everybody on the bus would just be like, Shack boy. And I was like, this is terrible. I'm not Shack boy. There was another house that was next door that, that was like the landlord's house. And I live in that house. And no, we see you coming out of the Shack boy. You're not fooling anybody. And I was like, no, man. I would just deny it. I would just deny it. And those things right there, I still have those just pent up. I have a hard time trusting people because of the way that I was treated in high school and middle school. And I'm just got my head on a swivel all the time. Even when some of my best friends now came up to me and they were trying to be my friend. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why do they want to be my friend?
Yeah.
What are they up to? I got to figure out what they're up to. This is some elaborate ruse. There's no way they can be my friend. It was foreign to me, and it's taken a lot. And I mean, I'm kind of going a little bit off track from the subject, but it's good to know that, I'm not the only one, and that we're kind of both doing the same thing. You did your videos and I'm doing podcasts. So kind of I feel like I'm going down the right track here.
For sure.
taking it to a lighter subject, just going to sports because that's what guys talk about. Living in here in Texas in the 90s, Cowboys, Wheaton Boys, always for NFL forever. NBA though, I was a Laker guy. I was a bandwagon Laker guy. I learned how to play basketball around the time Shaq and Kobe were big, and I actually didn't really care for Jordan. I was rooting for the Jazz those times, if you could believe it. I don't have to admit that. I could just say that I was rooting for the Bulls, but I'm sticking with those Jazz, damn it.
Stockton.
Yeah, how did they not win? They were so good. They were so freaking good. Stockton and Malone were.
Jordan was just incredible. Like Jordan, at the end of the day, is crazy because he took so many championships away from so many people that should have had championships. It's just like you look back at like Stockton and Malone. You think about the Blazers. You think about obviously the Rockets got theirs, but when the Rockets try to go again, and obviously they weren't going to get it. You think about the Knicks. Like I think about all the teams.
The Knicks.
I think about all the teams that just didn't get a chance. Like Reggie Miller, just didn't get a chance because Jordan was too good.
Charles Barkley, dude.
Yeah.
I heard one poor Charles Barkley story where he was talking about it, and he said, I was talking with my daughter, and she was like, Daddy, what happened? Charles had scored like 50 points, he killed it. And he's just like, Michael's just too good, there's no beating him, and that's, I hadn't heard this argument before. I guess it's out there. Everyone should see it, but that's one thing that, the guys right now, no one really has that anywhere near them taking championships away from like other real high class, like Hall of Fame type players. It just doesn't, it's not really there. The Kobe thing, did it strike you particularly hard, or for me, it hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm not a big crier, but I heard the news. We were in a meeting with my friends. We have a mastermind. We meet every Sunday, and we were going over goals. And someone in the mastermind was like, "Hey, Kobe died," and I was like, "That's a lie. Yeah, please don't say that. Like, that's not funny." And he was like, "No, he's gone." And so like we sat there for like 10, 20 minutes, and we didn't say a word. And like I couldn't focus for like the rest of the day. Like we went to like some brunch after to like hang out, but I wasn't there. I wasn't present. And I came home. I just cried, man. I cried for like 10, 20 minutes. Like that hit me. Like Kobe was a hero. Like was the hero growing up. Like we all watched him. We all yelled Kobe as we faded away at practice and trash cans, right? Like that's what we did. So to see him, just know that he was gone. I thought it was a joke. I thought they would be like, yeah, a week later we found him. Like to just see him go like that when he was building such a good life after basketball really affected me. And so, yeah, no, that really hurt. And I think a lot of people were affected by that because it's something that we haven't seen yet. You think about all the legends, they're still alive. Like Larry Bird's still here. Magic Johnson's still here. Isaiah Thomas is still here. Michael Jordan's still here, right? Bill Russell's still alive.
Bill Russell. I was waiting for you to get to Bill Russell. I was like, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they're still hanging around.
Reggie, they're all alive.
Magic Johnson, Magic Johnson got AIDS and somehow is still making it. And we lose Kobe?
We lost Kobe. That's for me.
Can't be right.
It wasn't right. Like we don't even get to see his Hall of Fame speech, just stuff like that. It's just like, what happened? So like, to me that hit me really hard. And, it made me rethink a lot about my life when that happened, because I just had to rethink a lot of things. Because like I think that he not only obtained greatness, but he also was helping. He was also being very intentional with his family time as well, while still obtaining that greatness. It's a very hard thing to do, and so it just makes you think about what you're doing in your life and how you can model that greatness. Because that to me, if you had to add another person, like he was it. Like that, he embodied just greatness. You just thought he was a superhero. He was like, this dude is just not stopping. Like he had I think it was Achilles injury, and he still shot the free throws and walked off the court. It's like, what? Like crazy.
No, and in my opinion, we won't ever see another Michael Jordan, but Kobe was as close as you could freaking get. And if they beat the damn Detroit Pistons, we would have had 6 championships. And it would have been like a freaking stalemate argument.
Still the best. That is one of the best teams, though.
He won with Pau Gasol. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the big Spaniard, but I mean, that's not Shaq. Like, everyone clowns him because he won with Shaq, and it's like, man, he won with freaking Pau Gasol. He scored 81 points in a game. Like, come on, what are we talking about here? He's Kobe, dude. He had a level of greatness that he expected everybody to go to, and not even Shaq could rise to the level of Kobe's expectations, and that's what caused the drama and the stupid idiot riff. But it was Kobe saying, "Hey, man, what are you doing, man? Why can't you freaking run up the court right now? It's the beginning of the season. Like, what are you doing?" And I mean, Shaq was a generational, unbelievable big man, a force we may never ever see type player. So he was going to tell Kobe to fuck off, basically.
I wish they would have figured it out. You know, that would have been a great story if they figured it out. But to the Pistons, though, that starting, you'll never see a starting five like that ever again. Like that.
Oh my God,
that starting five was ridiculous. So I think they're one of the best starting fives of all time. Like, from a unit and cohesivity standpoint, you just aren't going to find a starting five that good. Like, they were incredible. That was an incredible starting five. Incredible. So, but it is what it is there.
Yeah, I mean, opportunity lost, and that's the freaking moral of the whole story, because you were saying is Kobe had just kind of taken off, and obviously he won the Oscar, and he was stretching his legs and showing people, like, you know, there's a lot more to me than just basketball. His life was so interesting, having grown up overseas, and he could speak so many languages. Like, I'm barely able to speak this language, you know, and he's speaking multiple languages. Goes overseas talking to players, like, you know, I was, you know, blown away. I mean, I didn't shed a tear, but it hit me, I guess, about as hard as it could. I've got some real life family type drama with my grandmother and my mother, kind of circle of lifing it right now, and I guess that kind of shielded me from when the Kobe bomb dropped. I was like, well, I mean, you know, he's a basketball player. I don't know the man. I did look up to him, but, you know, realistically, he doesn't know who I am. I don't know who he is really. But my family here, they're kind of circling the drain, and I need to just kind of focus on that. So that's why I didn't shed a tear. I mean, I got close. I mean, I got kind of, and the stupid thing is that I have to, like, for some reason, feel like I got to hold it back. You know, I don't know why. I can't really put a pin in why I feel like I can't just let it rip. You know, but that's just the way it is. I was in my own home. I have a beautiful home that I live in, and I was in my own home, and I was like, Kobe's dead? Wait, no. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and like it was on my chest, and I was like, I'm about to cry. Well, and then I was like, what are you crying for? Your mom's. And I was like, oh my God, you're right, brain. I don't have to cry. In terms of the small screen, we'll start there. Any particular influential TV shows for you that you kind of grew up on or were really impactful for you?
You know, TV shows, there was nothing like, oh man, like TV show I'm impacted by. But what we watched a lot growing up was Toonami. I don't know if you know about Toonami.
Wait, what's this one?
Toonami. All right, do y'all know about Toonami?
I'm not familiar. I'm going to need an education. Is that some sort of anime type show?
It is. So me and my brothers watch, it's like Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, all the different like OG cartoon anime shows like that really kind of sent it off, like Naruto and stuff like that. They all came on Toonami. So we watched a lot of the main shows that we got like hooked on were through Toonami. And there's a lot of different shows on there, but the main ones I've listed are the ones that we gravitated towards. So when I watched TV, it was really Toonami. You know, there's other shows like, you know, like MTV music videos, right? Like, you know, we watched that back in the day. That's not a thing anymore. But that we always look forward to that, like VH1. What's the top 10 music videos? But you know, when it comes to TV shows, really wasn't that big of a fan of TV shows. Like I really didn't watch that much TV. Like Toonami, if we watched Recess, like a Disney Channel movie, right? Like that's pretty much what we watched. I mean, like Nickelodeon, like back in the day, like as kids. But then once I like got into high school, once I got into college, even now, I don't really watch that much TV at all. If I watch something, it's gonna be an anime, and that's because it was recommended by somebody, and I'll watch it. But Other than that, I really don't spend that much time watching TV. And I think a lot of that has to do with the people that I admire and follow. They're basically like, yo, we don't watch TV. So I was like, yeah, what's the point? And the only time I watch it is if I'm on a long flight. My girlfriend's like, yo, check out this show, right? Then I'll watch it. Or it's an anime that I get suggested. So I have a lot of people on LinkedIn, they're anime fans, and boom, I'll talk to them. So that's kind of where I got with TV. With TV. Anything that inspires me, it's gonna be from an anime because the main character is always a person who, similar to what we talked about earlier, like they're poor or they don't have any skill, but they have insane drive. So the reason I like animes is because the main character always reminds me of myself. So I get hooked because it's like I see growth and like I see me as that person because I'm going through that same growth. That's why I resonate with animes more than anything else. So,
my fiance takes me a second every time to remember, like, oh yeah, can't go with girlfriend anymore. She's watching this one, Cells at Work. I don't know if you've come across this. It's a Netflix type. It's on Netflix, I guess I should say. But it's just the human body and all the different cells doing their normal functions and how they coexist in the world that they live in.
That's
and
interesting.
Your body gets certain things happening to it, and the cells do certain things. It's actually very interesting and educational at the same time. I was like, I am learning way too much to be keeping watching this. This is not going to keep going. I was like, I can't keep watching this. I'm going to get too smart. But no, I mean, it was actually pretty good. Cells at Work.
That is pretty good. Yeah, I'm not a science person, but that sounds legit.
Yeah, no, it was. I was like, wait a second. Those are red blood cells, and they're doing something. That makes sense. What about the big screen? Any big screen action? You have any movie favorites or things that
Inception.
you about there? Inception. Oh my gosh, Inception. I want to love Inception. I tried to love Inception. I was so happy about Inception. I thought it was one of the better movies I'd ever seen. And then at the very end, you had to spin the top and like leave it spinning. Like I was like, this was such a good movie, and you had to do the most obvious thing that you could possibly do. Like, couldn't you leave it to chance or guess? And I mean, I guess you kind of are, but gravity's going to win out eventually. Maybe there's a certain amount of time that it lasts. He's the only one that knows the token. You know what I mean? Like, he's the only one that actually knows what it's supposed to do. So we can watch and think, well, he must have been in an Inception. No, he was in the real world. It's a perfect argument, but it was like the most obvious thing to do, and it really irked me. But I'm looking forward to one that's coming out. I'm bad with titles, but there's one that's coming out where a dude's like kind of like time traveling around, and I think it looks pretty good. Oh man, I'm bad with actors' names, so can't really give you much other than they're like super agents and they're like spies and they're going around and they get there before the event actually happens, and then they go through. I think it's John David Washington, I think is the guy who's in it, the main guy, the guy from Klansman. If you watch Klansman, main actor there. But it looked pretty good. I think it's made by the same man, Christopher Nolan, who made Inception. That's why it looks good. But,
nice. That was a good one. Limitless is another good one. Avatar.
Limitless.
Godfather. Those are my main ones. I think. Yeah, I mean, I would say like Lord of the Rings, right? Like Star Wars. Like I'm big into those.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. If I see those, I'm gonna take a minute to. Rush Hour. If I see Rush Hour on TV, I'm immediately gonna stop everything I'm doing and watch it because every time I laugh and I know exactly what's gonna happen.
We actually went and saw Chris Tucker when he was here in Austin one time and do stand up, and he's a professional comedian. You know, so many people laugh for him. It's incredible.
He's good.
It was like right after the big scandal with his taxes, so he just played it up, you know. Thank you all guys for coming here and paying my bill. I really appreciate that. like you guys are really helping me out. I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't talking.
He's the best, man.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And the physical abilities, I could see acting, but like I would never be able to do the physical things. And then you get to Jackie Chan in Rush Hour. I mean, he's insane. Like, how is that even a thing that happens in real life?
Yeah, I think he's one of the only few people that doesn't have a stunt double. I forgot who. There's select few people who don't need it, but I mean that he is just obviously just an incredible actor and also just good at what he does. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the one guy I was going to mention who's like, I mean, he's kind of known for it, and you wouldn't necessarily think it, is Tom Cruise, man. Tom Cruise goes out there and does a ton of different stunts, dude. He does a ton of different stunts. Like, all that's, like, some of the climbing and Mission Impossible movies and stuff where he's, like, hanging on the ledge and stuff. It's, like, really him, like, doing it. But he's got the power of Scientology, so what are we going to
do? I mean, here's the thing. Tom Cruise has been doing it for a while, though. He's an OG.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty. They showed a preview of Top Gun, the sequel, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm in. Take all my money. How big can we get the screen? How good can we get the sound? And can we make sure there's no kids there, please? I am anti that one. I don't want any whining babies while I'm watching Tom Cruise fly around in the plane, you know. But I guess getting into, you know, this is like a life thing. I struggle with it because I am not very good at controlling my intake of food. I overeat a lot. Are you pretty good at cooking? Do you handle that, or how do you go about food and fitness? Kind of like the thing that really keeps us alive.
Fitness. I have a personal trainer. I hired him.
Oh my God.
Year and a half, 2 years ago, because I knew that I'm not disciplined on that. So I had someone to tell me to do it because I know I needed to do it. So that's why I did that. Also as well, wow. Food, he comes up with meal plans. Do I follow them every single time? No, but I follow it for the most part. But it's hard. I can teach myself how to cook, but I'm very adverse towards it because I'm traveling all the time. So me cooking, I feel like is not a smart decision, but I feel like I'm going to go take cooking classes. That is something I'm going to do, but I'm not the best cook. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff I have, you know, I'll get from Costco or, you know, whatever, and I'll cook it from that standpoint, but I'm not going to go in the kitchen and be like, man, let me go cook today. It's just, I don't have the patience for it. And also I'm tired at the point I'm going to go cook something. So I don't do it. But in terms of fitness, I commit to at least 4 days out of the week to go exercise, and that's been my MO. And I got too fired up about doing exercise. I didn't sprain my Achilles like this past weekend, but you know,
what?
Yeah.
What kind of strenuous activity were you doing? Were you doing
basketball?
Oh, of course, yeah. You only have so many. You only have so many, and I didn't get that many jumps, and I was not athletic. I had no outside ability. The only thing that saved me, I joined the Army. Yeah, I did it. I signed up because I wanted them to pay for my college. I joined the Army, and in the Army, you don't really have a choice. You just get fit. Like that's what you do because you're in the Army. You're a soldier.
Like, otherwise you're not going to be there much longer.
No, there was no like, I don't think I'm going to do that. They were like, no, it's what everybody's doing, so you're doing it. And so that was an experience. When I came back, I was in the most phenomenal shape of all time. I actually surprised my sister at her house. She lived like 2 miles away from my grandma. I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. I made the bed, and I ran over to grandma's house. I didn't have a vehicle. I was like, I don't need no vehicle. I'm a soldier. I'll just run over there and watch this. I just ran over. Hey, guys, I'm home. And they were like, oh, well, we would have probably had a party for you if we would have known you were coming home. But I wanted to surprise you. You know, that was my thought. But no, when I came back, I developed a jump shot that was pretty unstoppable. And I was holding my own on the basketball court for a good while.
Shot. All right, I feel you.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, if you left me open, you were dead. But and I'm also left-handed, which is good for at least 2 buckets before they realize, like, wait, you're just going left. Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, the guy who's kind of, you know, running the league in terms of scoring, he's, you know, the ultimate lefty. I mean, I don't know if you want to really model your game after James Harden, but man, is he dominant.
It would be. He's I don't like the way he plays. I think he flops too much, and I think he does too much. But he could score, and he is an offensive force. And I can't take that away from him.
No, and he was averaging like 38 at one point this season, and I was like, wait a second, is this dude really going to try to go for 40? and then he kind of tapered off a little bit. He's down to like a meter 36. He's barely getting 36 points. Morgan, what was he doing out there? He was getting 38 the other night. What is he doing now?
He's deferring to Westbrook because Westbrook's starting to pick it up too. I think they're going to be like I said at the beginning of the season, I think they're going to be dangerous because if it's a very hard tandem to stop because they took out Capella in the middle and now they're just like So I'm very curious to see
everywhere.
I actually want them to secretly go to the finals and beat the Lakers and beat the Clippers and just surprise everyone and then they end up winning it. That to me would be pretty cool. Again, I'm not a massive fan of Harden, but I'm a massive fan of Russell Westbrook. So if they ended up beating everyone, I would be a huge fan.
We just became best friends, dude. I am such a big fan of Russell Westbrook, dude. I love that guy. I love that guy. Everybody was talking about him, like, padding his stats or whatever, and I was, man, you're talking about triple-double, dude. You had a good day when you had a triple-double. He averaged the triple-double, okay?
It's not even that. It's the fact that he goes so hard every
he
single
never stops.
game.
He's relentless.
And he doesn't stop.
Relentless.
He doesn't stop. And you're just like – and the thing is, I think he's started to taper that back a little bit because he's playing with Harden, and I think he's starting to realize, like, okay, I got to play with other people because he gets so tunnel vision, he goes so hard, he f's things up because he forgets that everyone else is playing with him, and then after the game he's normal, but in the game he's a different animal. So I don't know, just watching him play is incredible because he just goes so hard.
I have to at least. We could be friends on the Russell Westbrook front. I appreciate that we just bonded there a little bit. But nobody's taking down the Lakers, dude. And I'm torn about it because obviously we're talking LeBron at this point and him and his finals record and everything and the legacy and the whole aspect. He's doing it in the same jersey, so it's like kind of like a weird feeling that I'm having. I've always been a LeBron supporter and realized his dominance and his greatness, but it is a story, you know, his inability, if you will, to get it done sometimes, especially, the obvious black eye. The Dallas Mavericks, how you get beat by Dirk. That's not supposed to happen.
That was going to happen. Shout out to Dirk. Shout out to
Oh, my God.
Shout out to
you're defending. Oh my, JJ Barea. Oh, you're shouting out JJ Barea.
I was about to shout out JJ Barea. Yeah, shout out to JJ Barea. That's he balled on everybody. You sleeping on? He really went in on people and
he locked down LeBron. He put LeBron lockdown mode. Here comes JJ Barea, bro.
Oh gosh, was Michael Finley? No, I don't know. I think was Michael Finley on there? I don't know. I don't think he was, but still,
he was
that team, man.
Yeah. And then, but I want LeBron, not 4, not 5, not 6. He can just win them all, dude. He can Tom Brady his way.
I don't think LeBron's going to win it this year. Here's the thing. This is my
Oh my God.
This is my thought. LeBron, if he wins it this year, the reason that he wins is that he willed himself because he did it for Kobe. If he wins, that'd be like, okay, cool. That's why he did it. Like, he literally won it because he's got that extra edge now that Kobe's gone. He's like, I got to do it more for the city. But I think people are still sleeping on the Clippers because once it becomes playoff time, it's a completely different story with Kawhi and Paul George. I'm just saying they may be like, Kawhi's been load management or whatever. But I think people need to pay attention to that. And then also the Mavs today are still dangerous too. I think people are sleeping on that.
Well, I will never, ever respect little Los Angeles Clipper babies. I'll never, ever. That's little brother. It's always going to be little brother.
Watch out for them.
They have an unstoppable – LeBron is leading the league in assists. They have the ultimate playmaker. They have Anthony Davis, who is a generational talent who's been just toiling away in obscurity, and it's finally going to show everybody what's up. They're unstoppable. You put them two together, it's like a video game type scenario. And the supporting cast is pretty deadly when you look at what you've got.
Caruso?
Caruso. Come on, we're talking Kuzma and Avery Bradley. Those guys are pretty.
Kuzma's been
they're
suspect.
Nice, bro. They're nice, bro. They're nice.
Kuzma is good, but he's suspect right now.
Well, if he's wide open, will you trust him? Because he's going to be wide open because everybody's going to be looking at LeBron and freaking Anthony Davis.
You're probably going to be more reliant on Danny Green, Avery Bradley, I hopefully Rondo becomes playoff Rondo because he's been playing terrible. And I mean, you got Caruso, and I guess you got Dwight Howard. I do not like Dwight Howard at all. I despise him. So I
Oh
don't.
man,
I hope he does not do
I'm
well. But everyone
I
else, it is what it is.
I think Dwight got kind of a bad rap a little bit. You know, I mean, he's a standard big man. He made always he actually, and if you look back and see what happened, he beat LeBron when LeBron was in his prime. Man, that's
I
something
know.
to put on your resume.
I'm an Orlando fan. That's
Even
why I don't
though
like.
he couldn't beat Kobe. Obviously, I mean, come on, he's not gonna beat Kobe, but he beat LeBron in LeBron, and they almost swept him too. It took like one of those like buzzer beater LeBron shots to keep him from getting swept in that particular series. So Dwight Howard got a bit of a bad rap, I think. He's a giant, and Giants just once they get that. I mean, I think it was a back issue that really set him back. I mean, I don't mean to go back there, but you know, when your back starts messing up, I couldn't imagine having back pain. That's like the worst type of pain, I think.
I have no sympathy for Dwight Howard. He left the Orlando
What?
Magic. Nope. He left the Orlando Magic in the dust. Coach got fired. Everyone left. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to leave too. Went to the Lakers, was soft.
No.
And then he got tossed around between other teams. And he finally got his act together. I personally do not feel bad for him because he left Orlando Magic. And it was fine. We went to the finals. We lost to Kobe. And we still had our team. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. It's like, what? So, no, I forever am not going to forgive him for that because then he went to the Lakers and he sucked because he couldn't handle being with Kobe.
Not many people could, man. Not many people could. It was a very intense aura. Expectations is what I would just say. Like hey, this is what we do. We're on the Lakers, and this is how it comes. This is how it is, you know. And he's like, man, I'm gonna beat everybody because I'm just a giant. And Kobe's like, well, that's what you think, but who have you really beaten? He's like, oh, well, actually, you're right. But he wasn't like that. He just, I mean, there's no history or tradition of anybody staying in Orlando. Even Shaq jetted as fast
I know.
He could, you know.
He could have been the one.
So, but I mean, like, I guess I don't even really know. Like, even, yeah, I mean, Orlando, I don't even know would you still say Shaq is their best player of all time? Obviously, right? I mean, obviously,
Shaq had great
right?
players.
Young
they had Tracy McGrady, they had Grant Hill, Penny, right? I mean, but Shaq probably at the time that he was there would probably be their best player. But Dwight did lead finals, but then we played Kobe. Yeah. Like, you can't do anything against Kobe, and I knew we were gonna take an L there.
Shaq made it to the finals. You know, he got schooled by. I mean, I have a friend who never ever will be quiet about the dream. He just all dream all the time. But Shaq made it to the finals at least one time, right?
Yeah. They just have
the famous free throw game, even. All right. Well, transitioning. I mean, music for me, I'm kind of like just a radio guy. Just listen to the radio stations and learned all the radio songs. And then I finally got Spotify, and now I'm kind of delving into different genres that I really never had any exposure to. For you, what comes to mind when your personal trainer probably has a playlist for you, right?
Yeah, but like for me, I mean, like it pretty much is rap. He knows what it is. Like, number one is Travis Scott. Like, that's who I listen to the most. If he doesn't play Travis Scott during my session, I get upset with him, and he knows that. Also as well, like, I'm from Atlanta, so the stuff I listen to is very ratchet. It's like you probably wouldn't understand it and you wouldn't like it. I think because I'm from Atlanta, I like certain music that most people would never listen to in their entire life, which is fine because it's just where I'm from. So I listen to like Gucci Mane, Young Thug, right? Like those type of people, Waka Flocka, like Little Baby, like The Baby. I listen to those people because that's just what we grew up on. You know, that's just where we were at. So I listen to a lot of rap, but also if I'm not listening to rap, I listen to a lot of house, trance, EDM. Like, that's my other type of scene. I like that music. If I really want to get like in a flow and I want to be creative, I turn on that type of music, and I can be in sync and get like a lot of stuff done. So it's good.
Yeah. There's this town down here in Texas that's it's not quite Atlanta. It's just a little bit bigger. It's called Houston, like our rap scene. And yeah, I was into that because of the people that I was growing up with in high school and stuff. They were listening to DJ Screw and those guys, and I was just like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Honestly, to be honest, I really didn't understand it, but I could see the energy, and I could feel like, yeah, this is cool. But I was not hearing the music, as they said on White Man Can't Jump. You can't hear Jimmy. You can't hear Jimmy. I was not really understanding what was happening, but I could feel everybody else was getting into it. So I, posed along, as they say. And then I have recently picked up the same thing, the trance, the EDM, the electronic music. I got in a battle with somebody who was like, 1970s, that's the prime of music. And I was like, dude, if I went back to the 70s and I could not hear EDM because it doesn't exist, I would poke my eyes out. You could have the best music ever, but this stuff right here is much better. It's just a different flow. Like you were saying, you can get into, I like the focus playlist on Spotify where you get into like the house focus, and it's just like, you don't have to worry about lyrics, and you're just finding your zen, as they say, and you're working. I'm totally there with you on that.
Yeah, each playlist has their own thing. Like if I'm trying to, obviously if there's a house party, I'm not going to play focus music. I'm going to play something different. If I'm doing like admin work that doesn't really take that much thought into it, it's going to be like house, trance, or maybe even hip hop. But if I'm writing, then I have to turn on different type of music to get me to just be focused on my writing. So I have to just turn on different musics for whatever I'm doing.
Now, you said something there that hit me like a ton of bricks. You said writing. Now, how much time do you spend writing? How many notebooks do you have full of just content and things that you've put together?
I have tons of notebooks on content I put together. In terms of writing, I'm not a good writer. Something that I tasked myself this year to get better at. So that means I'm taking a journal. I have like a journal that I'm going to be like writing each day, like my thoughts, but I have like notebooks full of ideas that like have not even been executed on, but they're just like tons of ideas that are crazy. But when it comes to like, when I say writing, I'm talking about like writing emails or writing a post or responding back to people.
Okay.
I can't be, there's a certain type of music that I can't listen to. Otherwise I don't get anything done. And it's just like a task switch. Like if you listen to a playlist, like for a certain amount of time, that becomes the playlist that you then listen to when you want to go do work. And so now I have that for myself to go get things done.
Dude, I was in the Uber driver there for a good bit, and I would have like a list that I would just throw on. I'm like, all right, if I get through this list right here, I'll make enough money, and I'll have some passengers who may not like it, but I'm driving them around to wherever they picked up and wherever they want to go, so they can just deal with my radio. Not that big a deal. I wasn't really raving or anything. I was just having it on a normal level, and I exactly what you said. I was like, as soon as I get done with this, I know I'm finished with my day, and that's all I had to commit to. And it was pleasant, and it was surprising, like how comforting it was, just knowing, all right, about halfway there. No, this, like, there was one song specifically that was like a 45-minute one of those EDM, just, I guess I don't know what you would call that, like I'm thinking like a book where it was just like so long. Like, what do they call those? Where they're a 45-minute song? I guess it's like a set kind of, but it was just one constant song, and it would change throughout the song. And you knew, oh, here comes this part, here comes this next part, and it would kind of flow. And yeah, I was totally there. It definitely struck a nerve. I guess we're kind of wrapping it up here. Any particular final thoughts? Maybe like a favorite quote or a mantra that you live your life by?
Yeah, so on my phone, I'm looking at it right now, I always have like a quote that I'm focused on. And, whatever your home screen and your lock screen are what's going to be front of mind for the most part. And so I have this right here, and it's from Kobe Bryant. And when he died, obviously there was a lot of quotes that came out, but this is one that really hit home with me. And it's what I want to live my life on. And it says, the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. And I think about all the stuff that I've done so far. A lot of people reach out to me, and the reason that they start something is because they saw my videos in the past. And that quote just hits home with me because it makes me realize that I continuously have to do that for other people so that they can go and do the things that they want to go do. But you got to see someone else who has confidence in doing it first before you even take an attempt. So that's what that's what my quote is. Those are like my lasting words. Hopefully help somebody and inspire somebody.
Yeah, I would say you inspired me for sure. I mean, I was definitely keeping up with your content and watching it as I was in the trenches and using some of the things that you were saying and in my real life, and it was working. And well, this guy knows what's going on, and I'm going to try and do something similar. I have a blueprint, a path, obviously, that I'm following. Sport guy, Austin. I mean, it's so obvious who I'm ripping off. I mean, I hope he doesn't care. I hope he doesn't care. He has two sports. He's the sports guy. I only have one single sport. So what could he really be mad about? But yeah, the pod father of them all. Bill Simmons is like my ultimate. He's the guy that I'm kind of mimicking and kind of trying to follow in his path. He said that they're the new ESPN, so he gave up his crown. He said he left the crown for somebody else to pick up the mantle, if you will. So I was like, well, I'll take the challenge. And it just so happens that my name is Austin. He was from Boston, so it rhymes. And happenstance. It's all just happenstance. But really, I mean, ultimately, I do actually hope to dive into some deeper waters, more so than just talking about sports and things, and talking about overall life, and really how it's a lot of the same stuff for everybody, but it's different. Like I have the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my life. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life, but so do you, and it's a different thing, but it's still the worst thing that ever happened to you in your life. And that's the thing that the demons or the gremlins, that are chasing you all the time, and the feelings. So I'm going to try to get there, but it was really great talking to you, Morgan. Thank you very much for joining me. In terms of mantras for my life, I've already let the cat out of the bag before, but I'm a golden rule guy. I think I got the best motto. I don't think anybody can beat that motto. Treat the others how you want to be treated. No one's going to touch that. It can't be beaten, I don't think.
Yep.
I like Kobe and everything, but no, I mean, he was probably a little bit over the top for some people,
For sure.
Other people did not want to be treated that way, Kobe. I understand that that's what it took for you to be what you were, and that's exactly the same thing that the best basketball player that we saw, Michael Jordan, that's how he was able to get to his success. So I could see why Kobe would want that Mamba mentality, and he would aspire to have that same thing, but it's not always going to work for every single person whenever you're that intense. So maybe tone it down a little bit and treat Shaq okay, so we could win all the championships and we don't have to worry about conversations, because he easily has had 7, 8, 9, 10. Who knows? But I digress. This is a great episode of the A Team, guest star Morgan J Ingram, and